Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and I am here today with Scott from Adventure Further. He is going to be walking us through his Gladiator on 43s, which is a monster truck. It's amazing, but it's also built for overlanding. So just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what he has done to this truck. So stay tuned to learn more about this amazing Gladiator.
All right, hey guys, Scott here with Adventure Further, and today we're going to check out, like Fletch said, my diesel Gladiator. It's a 2021 and fully customed out. So this Jeep we built for our needs. We started out in the rock crawling community and kind of transferred over to what you see today, which is my rock crawling overlanding rig. To start out, we did 43-inch Pro XS tires. It is a Mickey Thompson tire that we do really love. With that, we actually wrapped those with KMC beadlock wheels that we travel all over the country going off-road. And so we're able to air our tires down to roughly 10 PSI without having to debead. The ride quality seems to be a lot greater when you're going off-road on these rough trails. Out west, when you get into some of these rocky trails, it gets to be kind of tough. With that, though, we did our fusion axles. So not only when you have a tire of that magnitude, you actually have to beef up the axle. So the rear axle is a Dana 80, which is a 4-inch axle tube. It is extremely thick. It's a 1/2-inch thick axle tube. And we are able to run 488 gears in this. With the front, we did a Kingpin 60 front, which basically means a ball joint delete kit in here, and so we don't have to worry about those failing on the trail. And then from there, we actually wrap that with King coilovers. So for ride quality and also articulation and suspension travel, we switched over to a 2.5-inch King coilover, which it's a 12-inch coilover, and it's fully adjustable with adjustment knobs on that. Right here, you see that we're able to turn that down and up depending on the trail that we're on. If we're rock crawling and I need the suspension to be tighter so I don't sit and bounce, I actually can crank that up as hard as I go, and the suspension actually hardens up. Trail riding, say I don't want to air my tires down and I want to cruise down a bumpy road, I loosen those shocks up all the way, and from there I have a nice comfortable ride without even having to air my tires down. But airing your tires down saves your suspension, saves a lot of components on your vehicle, because then you don't have to worry about all the nuts and bolts getting jarred around along with yourself. So we commonly do that. That's one big thing. One of the new things, actually, we don't do many upgrades on the General, but the off-road only sway lock is the one of few sway bars that they make for the Jeeps. And this is a new dual rate sway bar. So on road, it gets rid of the factory bushings, which allow a lot of sway back and forth. These are solid polyurethane bushings that they make primarily. And so now on road, this thing handles like a street car. It performs flawlessly. And we're actually in the process of working with them to get the rear one made, because currently they do not offer it. So that is something we're in the works for. And all we have to do is flick a lever. If you see here, all you have to do is flick this lever, and now my sway bar is disengaged. So it's that simple. And then it automatically disengages the minute we go off-road and need any articulation. It actually disengages. So it's super awesome. Great product. Love their product. And we work closely with Steve over there. That's one of the new highlights. I can actually say, as far as a sway bar being a highlight for us, that's actually a lot. Yeah. This rig weighs in, it's pretty heavy because of everything we carry, and you'll see here shortly the amount of equipment we carry for our off-road trips weighs in roughly close to 8,000 pounds. So this rig is definitely heavy, but it suits all of our needs. As you can see, we did KC highlights, light bar. We did their Pro 6 light bar along with their ditch lights, along with their front ones for our front bumper. So lights are definitely not an issue, and we even did our ditch lights on the side here for when we're just trail riding and I want to see right in front of my tire. We did that as well, and so that makes a nice big difference. We did the Xeon 12K winch for this heavy rig. We definitely need to be able to tow it out, and so the 10,000 pounds just aren't enough. So we did the 12K, and then with that we actually have the Factor 55 Ultra Hook. It is a hook with different purposes where you can actually latch it and also put your D-ring through here, so it gives multiple purposes, multiple points. If you're in a hurry, it works really great. And then for our steering components, as you're seeing down here, these are all upgraded 2.5-ton steering components. So from the aspect of driving down the road and having any, let's say, movement in your steering wheel, that pretty much is taken away by having the Fusion 4x4 tie rod and drag link, and also the track bar. Sorry, track bar is actually evil, but we did a full suspension on this, and this suspension is an Evo suspension. What that means is we did a long arm kit and we cut all the factory brackets off of this Jeep when I got it. Brand new at 300 miles on it. We cut all the brackets off of this thing, had it down to bare frame, and ended up cutting them off and relocating all of them. And what that allows us to do is off-road. The articulation, I can physically lift up that wheel 49 inches off the ground before any other tire leaves the ground. And all it does is provide stability for the vehicle and not the chance of a rollover. So that works out really, really great. We did do the Cascadia vehicle system solar panel on the hood. That is a 100-watt solar panel. It's a really great upgrade. We did that to the factory battery. So all of our lights and radios and everything on the inside goes off of our factory battery. And then we also have a house battery in the back that we'll get to. So if you want to come around this way, we did custom fenders on this thing. We actually trimmed them all down. They're originally JCR fenders, but I didn't like the look of them myself. And I wanted also more movement for my tire to rise. So I cut about 1.5 inches off of their fender. Wow. And liked the look of it. Plus I put my own LED light on it to relate to the JLs. It's one of the really kind of like iconic things is they have their light in the fender. So I did that with here. I wanted to keep that and retain it. So we did our own. And then Rockslide Engineering steps. I have to say, I tell you, for getting in and out of your Jeep, especially a Jeep of this size, is one great thing, because not only can this be used as an actual step, these steps deploy and go back into the step, and then I have rock skids that go over the top of it, and I truly can rock crawl this Jeep no problems and not worry about these steps getting ripped off. There's a switch inside, so the minute I go off-road and I get into a sticky situation, I flick the switch off so they won't come out and get hung up on any rocks. But the minute you open the door, which right now I have them locked down just because the vehicle's shut off, the minute I do open the door, they open and close like within 3 seconds. Like the minute you open it, it's automatically open, and then there's a 3-second delay. So nice. Rockslide Engineering steps is an absolute must for that. On the top here, we did the JCR roof rack. I had to do a little bit of customizing on here. Originally, this roof rack's designed to be underneath my topper. That wasn't going to work for me. So we actually shortened the rack about 1/2 inch, which is actually fairly simple, and moved it ahead just enough for me to get it here. I wanted to have it back as far as I could for a wind deflection. I have, believe it or not, this whole Jeep, I have 0 wind noise. Oh. There is nothing going down the highway. The light bar doesn't make any wind noise. My top doesn't make any wind noise. All my gear on the top, there's nothing. Wow. So that is one really great thing. If you come right here, you can see we newly upgraded on this last trip to Starlink Mobile. Oh, yeah. That, I mounted in the center because I wanted to kind of be not so much hidden, but with tree branches and stuff like that, I wanted it not to get hit. So we upgraded to that for mapping, and then also for being off-road if we need emergency services. We do run Garmin inReaches. We do have satellite phones, but this is just another level of communication that it brings it to a whole new level that we're able to work with. And on our last trip was to New Mexico. It worked amazing. I can't even speak enough for it. As being an overlander in this community, everybody may shame you and say, why do you want to go off-road if you're going to be connected? Well, at the same token, it's also a life-saving tool that I'm able to afford, and it's not the cheapest thing, but it definitely works for us. We have had instances where it's very well needed. So it's just a really cool upgrade for that purpose. So this is an AT Habitat. We have from AT Overland. They're out of Prescott, Arizona, and we actually retrofitted. We got this installed, but with this top, we did the hatch door on the side, and we have a full red arc system. It's the red arc red vision system, and we actually integrated this into our Goose Gear platform. What an amazing add-on that it's been. And we got our inverter in here, a 2000 watt inverter in place along with all of our components. We tried to nicely route everything to our 200 amp lithium battery that's right inside the door here. So that is really cool. And of course, I promote fire extinguishers. We did have a personal Jeep fire. It's no joke when it happens. If it happens to you, no one ever wants it to. Can't express enough how big fire extinguishers are. Like everybody's like, no, one's enough. One is not even enough. I used 2 and it didn't even get my fire out. So just a food for thought there. If anybody looks into these, Fletch, these are really great fire extinguishers. Yeah. Yes, you just have to know how to use them. That's the drawback. Yeah. If you don't know how to use them, everybody fumble. Right. Correct. You're spot on. So because this Jeep is obviously a large Jeep, and the first thing everybody says is, why do you want it to be so big and why do you want it to be so tall? Well, the first thing that we run into is that when we're off-road, these Gladiators are so long and the wheelbase is so big that I didn't want to drag over obstacles. I've been in standard vehicles or a 2-inch lifted vehicle, and the belly pan is rubbing on it. You just can't get over a rock that's 1.5 feet tall. So that's why we went to that size. It does hinder getting in and out, but we found an awesome solution to our problem, and it is these alu boxes, which fit perfectly in between my Goose Gear platform, but it also acts as our step to get into the vehicle. My wife's 5'2", has no problem getting in, and she never even yells at me and says, man, this thing's super tall. Good, yeah. So the alu boxes serve as a perfect platform for us, and then when we're cooking, which this is our fridge tray from Goose Gear. We have a full Goose Gear platform. You could stand on here to see inside, and then also your stove, which is a cook partner stove. So it fits perfectly on their tray. We leave the hose right behind it for gas, and then she's able to grab all of our pantry items out of our alu box is what we use this for, and so it works great for a kitchen setup and for a step to get in. So it's really, really a great system having the full Goose Gear. And then we did a bed rug over the whole thing. So we do winter camp. Not only do we camp in nice weather, we like to somehow go through the winter and camp in 0 degrees and 10 degrees. Yeah. So we did a bed liner through the whole thing and then put the Goose Gear platform right over the top of it. Nice. Install wise, they didn't really like to do that. It was a little bit of a hassle, but we wanted to make sure that the warmth, wasn't going to transfer through the bed, and then this floor plate was going to be super cold. Yeah. And so it worked exactly how I thought it was. It's amazing. Nice. It really is amazing. To go with that winter camping, we have our Truma heater. One great addition that we came across is we did a vent. So from the factory, it just blows straight out the front, and all my bags in the front were nice and warm, but I wasn't up top. Yeah. So we took the plate off the very top, or off the front, and then grabbed a 3-inch sewer hose. Nice. And we're able to make it work. And so now the heat's directed straight up. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was game changing. Yeah. So I mean, sometimes you just have to modify stuff to work for you, and that's right. For us. That's what we did. Yeah. But with the Goose Gear platform, not only do you have the drawers that open, we usually throw all of our flashlights and common stuff that we want to get from the inside, because that drawer is also accessible from here. Oh, nice. So you can open up the lid and reach in. If you're inside and your tailgate's locked in the middle of the night, you need to get something, you're easily accessible. So that's really a nice add-on. And then you got your bottom drawers too. We usually do toilet paper, kitchen stuff where you need it. Yeah, the important stuff when you're outside, you need to quickly grab it and the tailgate's open. Right. But then, I don't know if you've gotten into this, but we do the Thetford toilets, the cassette toilets. Yeah. That's been a really great thing. So we camp as family. My wife and 2 kids generally go with me everywhere we go. Nice. And so for having the I have 3 girls, so with having the girls with me, it's definitely been one great add-on, and the wife has never complained once
Nice.
about the whole toilet situation, having that, and it'll easily last us a whole weekend.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That it works out, and the kids love it. So.
Yeah. Nice.
But then, working over to the Habitat, this flips over. So as you open it, my girls are actually able to sleep on that end, and it leaves 2 feet open. And so my kids can sleep on that end, and we can sleep on this end. And this section here will support 650 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So my wife and I sleep here. We did a custom mattress inside of it because the stock 2-inch mattress, like every other tent, is not very good.
No.
And so we actually did a 4.5-inch mattress, custom made from a manufacturer, sleep shop by us, and it works awesome. Like they knocked it out of the park. We had one prototype, it didn't work out, and they had to do a second one. And the second one, they knocked it out of the park, and it works great. Closing it up closes just fine, no problems there. And so really, really like that. And then over here is where we have access to we just threw the Starlink cables in here. But we have our 2,000 watt inverter right here. So if we need to do anything with, hypothetically, a toaster, I just can't think off the top of my head what other components that she would need, but a hairdryer. I mean, you can run a hairdryer right here off the back of the Jeep. So it works really good. Exactly, anything. Camera batteries every once in a while. We do have that retrofitted into the front, into the Red Arc system. All of our camera gear is on one shelf. Every battery has a place. Every charger has a place. They're all adhered to the plate. Once you do that, it's just organization is right there.
Yeah.
GoPro, drone batteries, GoPro batteries,
chainsaw batteries.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next one. DeWalt batteries are going to have to be on that shelf for me. So we use that, and power supply is no problem. So having the 200 amps of lithium,
nice, yeah.
Yes, 100 is like on the fence of, yes, it's nice and it's great, but then like having the 200, I'd have no worries.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to have power, and we're able to plug solar into this side, and it does work really good. We have 400 watt solar panels. I think it's just the Lensing ones.
Oh, Lensun?
Yes, Lensing.
Yeah.
So a really economical, cost-effective brand. I've had them for 2 years. They work great.
Nice. That's
So
what I had on the hood of my old truck.
did you? Yeah. So they work great.
Yeah.
And I can't complain about those whatsoever.
Nice.
The tire carrier, I get a lot of questions on that one right now, because that's probably one of the questions you're going to get quite a bit, and even in your video. It was a prototype for a company that I was working with to fit a 43-inch tire on the back of a Gladiator. It does great. I've had it for 1.5 years. I have no problems with it, and but it didn't go to production. It got to be too expensive that they were worried that it was going to be not available for everybody, and they were going to sit on it, so they didn't run it to production. But luckily enough, I guess I got a prototype that it works, and we still use it, and can't complain at all. So that's one great thing. With that, if you look under the back here, this is one of the new things, and I don't know if you've came across this with your community.
Yeah.
If it's called Trailed, TRALD. These jerry cans. These are 6-gallon spare tire jerry cans.
Oh.
So I just came across them because I was looking for a solution that they don't have for the Gladiator diesels. They don't have a solution for it, and so I came across him over there. And so all it does is you crank it up, just like you would a spare tire. There's a hole in the bottom, and you can crank them right up in a 29-inch tire.
Nice.
As long as the tire is over 29 inches. So for me, with not having any place to put diesel fuel besides on the roof there, I got 18 gallons.
That's cool.
So that was a really cool thing.
Something like this.
Yeah. So and it's really economically price effective too. I think if you buy 3, the whole kit's $500 for 3.
Like you have a skid under it.
Yes, I did the custom skid under it.
Nice.
He didn't offer that yet.
It would be worrisome, right?
Correct, especially for me doing what we do.
For you, right.
If I hit this, I wanted to hopefully slide off of it and not throw a hole right through it.
Nice.
So we did a custom skid at our shop to make it work for us.
Nice.
And then here you can see the 80 rear end that we have. It's like a dump truck rear end. But with these tires in the community that we're in, they say that these tires tear up differentials. And let me tell you, I have other Jeeps with them, and those other Jeeps, I have put that to the test. I grenaded the rear end. with a smaller differential. This one, I've done just about everything with it, and I've never had one problem. So it's been a great combo, these tires to these axles. So no problems whatsoever there. But, you know, and then we just did small stuff. Tail lights, instead of having these big gaudy tail lights out to the outsides, we did slim profile ones. So if we're on a trail and get close to a rock, I don't rip them out. These are just Oracle tail lights. The rear JCR fenders. So just other little miscellaneous things. We did do custom springs. That might be one thing for anybody that has a very heavy load capacity and it's a coil spring suspension. Coil Spring Specialties out of Kansas City. I work with them on multiple builds, and they make one heck of a spring designed specifically for your rig, and it's actually pretty cost effective. So that's other one really good add-on for somebody that's looking for it. So yeah, and then I mean we just put scene lights out here. So when we're running on a trail, trying to find campsites, trying to level, you know what I mean, get all set up at night, just flick the switch and turn them on. So yeah, but yeah, and then like we did the Goose gear seat delete in the rear. More storage is always a plus.
You can get all the kids in there?
Yep.
You got
get
the
2 kids. Yep.
Side.
So we got the 60 on that side for the 2 kids. And then I have a dog. So not only we're fully loaded. This is actually, I put it in here actually for my dog. I wanted to make sure in the Gladiator, she's a golden retriever. Yeah. And I didn't want to have the little foot room for her. So we did a whole seat delete just for her. And her little doggy bed goes on here. And yeah, so she loves, if she sees we're going somewhere, she wants to jump right in this thing. Yeah. She knows that's her spot. Up, though, right? No, she'll jump in it. Oh, really? I get a couple scratches here from her getting in, but hey, I don't care. So
I'm pretty sure when I rode in this, I sat in that seat.
I think so. Before the seat delete. Yeah. Yeah, you've seen it before. We did all the overlanding stuff. You got the rock crawling mode. Yeah. You've seen it. So, but then we were able to get the alley box on top. So I have a quick source for recovery gear.
Nice.
You never know when you need it.
Yeah.
So it's nice and handy right there. So yeah.
Who's recovering you in this rig
now? It hasn't been I need to be recovered yet. It's usually other people. Right. But there's always that situation when you may need it. So yeah. So but hey, I got a bunch of friends that we wheel with, and every once in a while they need a tow. So we help them out. And usually it's not a problem. So but yeah, so that's our rig. That's our EcoDiesel Gladiator. Built on 43s, fully custom. There's not anything that's stock besides the body, I guess, as far as that goes. So
yeah, very cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, so that was Scott with his Gladiator. So thanks, Scott, for being with me. I appreciate it. And, you know, if you guys have any questions, again, go down in the link in the description to check out Adventure Further and see more on this amazing machine. Also, as normal, there will be other links to all my social media channels, things like that. So if you guys want to come hang out, we'd love to have you. And then there's also links to Patreon and the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. So, again, if you are looking for places to hang out, learn more about overlanding, those places are great as well. But, again, thanks for watching. Click that like button. If you're not already, click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I do a couple every week, and I'd love to have you. So thanks again for watching. Thanks, Scott, and we'll see you next time.